Welcome back to the 2019 Stafford Open A tier with FPO coverage of the back nine. I am Adam Harris, and I am here with my lovely wife, Becky Harris.
Here today, it is, like I said, 2019 Stafford Open, driven by Innova Champion Discs, and this is the second year for the PDGA A tier event here at Stafford Open. I think last year we had 5 ladies show up, and this year we had 15.
I think it was either 14 or 15.
Yeah, 14 or 15. So that was 3 times the amount of women that showed up. So that's great to see in New Jersey. Here, just to recap, Holly Finley shooting even after the front 9. Kona Panis +1.
And here we are on hole 10, which is a 257-foot par 3, which is a tight tunnel shot. The first 2 guardian trees are rather large trees that really pose an obstacle to the eye, and then it opens up a little bit before it gets a little tight down by the green. We have Holly lining up her drive.
She makes it through. Great shot.
That is
Woo!
a very nicely played shot.
It is.
A few feet behind, that's going to be on circle's edge.
And up next, we have Kona Panis, again shooting a +1 after the front 9 and just hits a tree, goes in the woods. This is a tight hole. And Maurice Perendi up third. She shot a +2 on the front 9. Shoots that, she just goes right in the woods. She hits that guardian tree to the left. I know on this hole, I throw a mid-range off the tee. I'm not sure what you throw off the tee.
Same.
Same.
I'm throwing just a normal rock.
Yep. Looks like Margaret was throwing the same thing. Looks like a mid-range off the tee. Kona with a forehand shot. Really just trying to get out of the woods and back on the fairway safely, which it looks like she did. Which should leave her a long putt for a par.
Margaret laid in the middle of the fairway after her hit off the tree. She lines up her second shot. Oh, that's going to slide right to it. Very well played. Nice, clean, low line. Keep herself out of trouble.
Maurice does look like, though, she's in just a little bit of trouble going off the fairway. She's going to have to get around some of those holly and laurel bushes. But it looks like she was able to get out, and she's just right on the edge of the fairway. Here's Kona lining up for her putt. Very good effort with her jump putt. I am a terrible jump putter. I feel like it's way too many variables for me.
A lot of moving parts in that.
Margaret making her putt.
Good up and down. Yep. Real good up and down there. That's what Stafford's a lot about. You make a good drive, you're highly rewarded. You miss it, you really got to scramble to get your par.
Looks like Maurice has a low-lying putt.
Same.
She executes that well. And again, a great par on this hole. While it being one of the shorter holes on the course, it's really one of the toughest par 3s on the course. Would you think, Adam?
It's really easy to get in trouble there. There's an awful lot of bogeys when I see the cards as they come in over the years. Here's Holly lining up for her birdie.
Great putt.
Play. Really, really great play on that hole.
She's been playing so well so far. Again, she got a birdie. Now she's 1 down for the round. And it's very doable here on this course.
It's one of the things about the course. A lot of people can get a par, birdie, or bogey on every hole. And here we have hole 11, which is a 775-foot par 5, which is fairly short on the par 5 side, but it is a very tightly wooded double dogleg. We just turned the first corner. As we head down the fairway, there's some very large trees that are still in the middle of play. And then this is the second dogleg, which is very well protected on the right edge, which opens up this left side that the drone just came through to allow for a really nice approach line. It's a very, very touchy hole here to drop in for the par 5.
Here's Holly, first off the tee after her birdie. Great shot. A nice flattened out just a little bit. Again, this is also one of those holes where you need to decide off the tee, am I going to throw a driver and really try to get down the fairway, or throw just a nice simple mid-range straight down to where the dogleg is to leave yourself a nice placement shot. So just what Maurice did there, it looks like she kind of threw something just straight down the middle to set herself up.
And here's Margaret Looks like she's playing slight hyzer. Took a little early on right, but it kicked back out towards the fairway. And Kona.
The great drive off the tee. Skips just on the other edge of the fairway, but she should still have a great second shot from there.
Margaret lining up her second shot. She looks like she's just on the left edge of the fairway, right about at the first dog leg. It's a little early on the right-hand side. Kicks back into the fairway, though. She's going to have an obstructed line on that right edge.
Maurice just squeaked by those two trees, but unfortunately hit a tree behind it and leaving herself. Should still be a nice third shot. And Holly with a forehand, which is something she very rarely does, but a shot that's definitely required for this hole. It looks like she was really using it more for just a placement shot.
Yeah, she played it out well, stayed in the fairway.
Kona with a really nice forehand, but unfortunately it just tickled a tree and slowed it down.
Yeah, if that would have finished, that would have came out in the fairway really nicely. Had a good shot shape on it out of her hand.
Margaret looked like she was trying to Anheuser this shot a little bit. And
well
right there's kind of a little bit of a mound. And if you can kind of get over that mound, you have a nice, easy, straight shot just right towards the basket.
There's a few obstacles on this hole. The vertical trees and then the mound. And just behind the mound, there's a ditch. So you have vertical and horizontal obstacles all in the same place on this hole. Looks like Holly just cleared it, so she should be lined up for the more open upshot lane. And here's Maurice.
That is a gorgeous shot.
Very well played. She got a lot of distance out of that. She set herself up on the left edge looking at the green.
Yep.
Kona looks like she's in the mountain laurels.
Has a low ceiling, so she's going to have to get down on the ground. And she threw a nice forehand, which, again, left her right there just in the mound. And it's just a nice, easy, straight shot from there. Hit a tree. She's probably just outside the circle for her putt.
And here's Margaret. Looks like she's got a mid-range in her hand, right about at the ditch. Plays it up nice.
Adam, how many times do you think this hole's been eagled?
3 that I know of. That's it.
Probably all throw-ins.
Definitely 2 from the ditch, 1 drop in. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple more out there I haven't heard of, but not often.
And Holly throwing another forehand shot, which leaves her nice inside the circle. Easy putt from there. Maurice, she landed just under the laurel, so she is going to have to stretch out a little bit. And she's got that nice forehand shot up. Easy tapping.
Great play.
Kona with the jump putt.
Hitting the pole. It's going to be another drop in. Here's Margaret.
Looks like she held on to that a little bit too late.
Looked like it hung on to her index finger just a little bit. Great camera line there. Comeback putt, dead center. In for the 6.
Which is still a very good score on this hole. I want to say when we've looked at scores on this hole, it's probably ranged from a 4 to a 12. So a 6 is pretty good.
Scores on this hole come in all over the place. Holly in for another par. She is just playing a very clean round here on a very, very tough course.
Maurice with her nice, easy tap in. And that's for
another par.
For her. Well executed. So we had 2 pars and 2 bogeys after hole 11, which are great scores for this hole. And up next, we have hole 12. So 12, 13, and 14 are kind of birdie alley, you want to say. 3 very easy par 3s that you really want to get 2s on. So hole 12, we have a 274-foot par 3. Kind of goes uphill and scoots to the left. And this hole was done very nicely by the volunteers, where you kind of have a couple different levels of wooden tiers. So you kind of judge your shot by what tier you land on. And Holly had a nice shot, but hit that one tree in the fairway that you really want to avoid.
There's Maurice throwing. That looks like that's going to go right up the main fairway. She'll be on the right edge of the green. And Margaret.
Looks like she held onto that a little bit too long, trying to take the local route on the right side. She'll have an upshot from there. And Kona, for her first shot, gets it nice and high, which is what you want to do. And that is a great shot.
She'll have a very, very clean look into the basket from there.
And Margaret, for a second shot, she's going to have to get through a little bit of the woods and the laurels, which she was able to get through, but hit a tree right in the fairway, and we'll have her third shot right here.
Well, that looks great.
Wow, yeah.
That's a very good shot into B position.
Mm-hmm. What great camera footage by Gatekeeper Media, too.
Here's Holly coming out. Looks like she caught something on the way out. And down that hill, it's awfully steep. If you hit early and go left, there's some trouble over there. And here's Maurice. Very well played. Mm-hmm. That looks like that's going to be a drop-in par. Oh, just off the front basket.
So close.
That was good long putt for a par save there.
Yeah, rolled away just a little bit.
Kona looks like she's going to be a tap-in as well.
She is very comfortable with that jump putt. It's great to see.
She is. You mentioned earlier you're not. Neither am I. Good putt from the knee underneath of those tree branches there.
Gets her back to even, but still a great round she has so far.
Margaret's in. Bogey. Sitting at +6. Kona tapping in. Par. +3. And Maurice tapping in for another par. Look at that ring of pars there. That's steady golf sitting at +2. We have the 13th hole here, which is a 204-foot downhill touchy shot. The pin is tucked in just a little bit to the right. So some people choose forehand and some people are throwing a putter turnover shot. This is one you don't want to go terribly long because the back of the green is pretty well protected.
So Maurice decides to throw a forehand here. Just hits a tree, but lands her in the fairway for a putt. I know on this hole, I'm throwing a mid-range, potentially a putter, depending on how I'm feeling with the putter. It could be a little touchy for me. Kona with a forehand, turn it over just a little bit. But that's kind of the walkway to hole 14, so she should still have a nice easy upshot from there.
She'll have a look. Holly throwing the backhand turnover, and it looks like she's going to slide right up to it. Very smooth play there. Margaret's also looking like she's going backhand with a mid.
Goes just a little straight for her.
That's going to be just outside of circle 1 with that little bit of an obstructed putt.
Kona with the forehand for an upshot. Ooh, looks like she was trying to gently get that in the basket, but it'll be a nice, easy 3 from there.
Nice touch forehand on that. Maurice putting it under the basket. Looks like she's going to tap in for a par. And Margaret just outside of the circle. Off the front rim. You can see the chains dangling just a little bit. Almost got that one.
Holly with her nice tap-in birdie. This is probably one of the only downhill shots on the course.
This and probably 17 are the only 2 real downhill shots. It's a fairly flat course. The elevation is very slightly rolling, almost not noticeable. However, it is a little bit more there than you would expect in your line of sight.
And we are back here at the 2019 Stafford Open. We have hole 14, a 287-foot par 3. It's kind of it's almost a similar shot drive for the same here as hole 12, but here it kind of bends uphill and to the right to finish out.
Holly's going backhand, so she's going to play it off to a little bit to the left side, and that should leave her in another really good spot for a putt. Just a very clean line she threw there.
There is kind of a dead straight ahead drive for a righty, but you really kind of have to get through some trees, and then it'll be a nice, easy hyzer shot from there. But just like Maurice and Kona are doing, for a righty, it's actually a really good forehand shot off the tee.
If you can shape this forehand flex just right with a nice stable disc, it comes right back to it. Looks like they both caught a tree on the left-hand side. Looks like Margaret's going backhand. Playing it just off the center tree.
That is the one tree that makes or breaks that hole. That's the one tree you want to avoid. So Maurice has a forehand shot up towards the basket. Should leave her a nice putt from there.
Well played. She's playing very smart golf today. When she's getting trouble, her upshots are very, very on point. Kona also, another good upshot.
Yeah, this basket's surrounded a little bit by trees, more so on the left-hand side of the basket. But it's still a tricky upshot, no matter really where you land in the fairway. And it looks like Margaret just laid up her shot. Great putt.
That's another solid up and down for par. Hit early and still finished a par. Well played hole.
Holly maybe has about 20-footer. Nice putt.
Great birdie. Great birdie. Looks like we'll be tapping out here for Margaret.
Disc golf has really evolved over the last 5 to 10 years. Between the technology of the discs, different style bags, to now Zucca carts, and there's so much variety to choose from, and it has been wonderful to see it evolve over the years. And we have hole 15 here, which is a par 4, 731-foot hole. This is probably one of my favorite holes on the back nine. You have about 250, 280-foot shot to get out of the tunnel, and then you're nice wide open into the field, and then you have to kind of tuck back into the woods to have that beautiful landscape green. So Holly with her drive turned it over just a little bit, but still landed outside of the woods. There's generally a headwind on this hole, you'd say, Adam?
I'd say 3 out of 4 days you're thrown into a headwind out of this gap, and you can't feel it when you're inside the trees. And then as soon as your disc hits that tree line, it starts to turn over. There's another well-played shot. Just make it out of the gap with control. Well, it looks like Kona really got on that one. That's a great throw. That's an aggressive play to hit that line through those trees with that much power. That's a really well executed shot.
Margaret, wow, we had 4 great drives from these ladies that all made it out of the woods.
That's an impressive grouping. Don't see that every day.
Yeah. And just like the other open holes you saw in hole 5 and hole 6, there's usually OB on both sides where the tall grass is, but hole 15, there is no OB on the tall grass here. Maurice had a great second shot. I mean, this second shot is really about the distance and making sure you get the distance and control it with the wind, and that is just what she did.
Yeah, you've really got to get on this one to get to the edge of the tree line and give yourself a chance at coming down the hill. Holly looks like she got over on it a little bit. She's in the tall grass, which again is not OB. There's no OB on this hole. The distance is more than difficult enough on its own.
Just kind of restricts you from having a run up, really.
It certainly does affect your footing when the grass is knee-high or higher.
We have Margaret for her second shot. Great release.
That might get down in the woods a little bit.
Wow. She definitely will have a look at a birdie putt there.
Yeah, she's got a long birdie look.
I mean, for me, if I get just in the woods at my second shot, I am very happy.
Here's Kona. She also put a good move on her drive.
Great distance there, too.
Oh, if that gets in that gap, that's there.
Wow.
Oh, just a little tree. If that would have skipped there, that would have been down the bottom of the hill, pin high. A lot of distance on Kona's game.
All right, Holly with her third shot. Looks like she's going on that outside line and lands. Great shot. She lands just by the basket. It's probably one of the prettiest greens in disc golf, and for sure on this course with that really nice landscape green. And that was all done by volunteers too. She looks like she's trying to go for it. Great shot by Maurice. She should still have. That one should be more of a level putt, slightly downhill putt from where she landed. Margaret had an upshot there. She should still be able to make that putt, though. Ideally, you would want to be, in that little circle, nice, easy putt. But even anywhere just outside of it should still give you a chance.
Where Kona just landed inside that circle, the circle's 12 feet from the basket, just for perspective on the distance. And looks like Margaret's just about circle's edge, just off the front rim. A little bit of an uphill putt there. And this will be a downhill lay. Good finish.
Yeah.
Really good finish on a tough hole. That's a great par.
This hole slightly plays over par, correct?
This hole plays about 4.3 to 4.35 for every tournament we have. Generally, I don't like holes that play like that, but the green was just a natural landing zone. So you go with what the land gives you sometimes. Holly finishing in for her par, and she's holding strong at -2.
A lot of these ladies, too, are coming right off of Women's Nationals. The weekend before this, the U.S. Women's DGC was in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So it's really only about a 3.5-hour drive to here. So it's very natural for some of the ladies and gentlemen to make it up here to play this tournament because it's not too far of a drive.
That's another well-played par on a very difficult hole. And we have hole 16, which is a 545-foot par 4. OB on both sides, wraps around the basket, all the long grass is OB, into an elevated basket that is hanging from that large oak tree. This generally plays with a little bit of tailwind, opposite of hole 15 that's coming at you, so your disc is going to want to hyzer more than you would think, because you can't feel the tailwind in the tree line where the tee is. And here is Maurice lining up her drive.
This hole's really about staying in bounds. And unfortunately, Maurice right there did go out of bounds. And this is another hole for where the OB rules are. You play from where it went out.
Kona looks like she put a lot on that. And that's going that's going to stay in.
Stay in bounds. And this hole plays slightly under 4.
This plays more about 3.7 to 3.75 for every tournament. Generally, I wouldn't like the two holes to be not closer to par, but these two handcuff so well to each other that they play to a par 8 almost exactly when you combine the two of them together. So it works out very well in the long run. Here's Holly playing her second shot.
Really nice shot.
She's going to have a nice birdie putt there. But you can see the trees move into an elevated basket. That's going to be a challenging putt today.
This basket almost always is a challenging putt. But having a hanging basket is really great.
Here's Maurice. Looks like she got a lot of distance on that to put herself in circle's edge.
Yeah, the wind picked it up a little bit towards the end. You can see the disc kind of fly up in the air a little bit. And you can see Margaret right here. She went out of bounds, so took her meter in. She probably wanted a little bit more height, but still, she got the distance.
Kona throwing in her shot. And that looks like that's going to be circle's edge as well. It'll be interesting to watch how the wind affects these putts.
I would have done the same thing as Margaret. Lay up from where I was at.
Smart
with an
play.
elevated basket.
Smart play.
So Maurice is just outside the circle, as you can see.
Well, that is a great putt. She more than likely had a
Yes.
pretty strong headwind right in her face and just canned a 36, 37-foot putt. Beautiful. And Holly's probably got the opposite with a strong tailwind at her back. Caught it off the front rim just a little bit.
You could tell as Kona's lining up for a putt, she kind of has her hands out and she's just trying to feel the wind and see how she should angle her disc to be able to make the best putt possible. Staring down the chain. Wind's blowing. Ah,
Just off the front rim as well.
yep. I mean, even a 10-footer on this hole with the wind blowing is a tricky putt.
Those were some excellent putts. For as far out as they were and as windy as it was, everybody's tapping in. You didn't have anybody really staring down a long comeback putt looking at a bogey.
And we had 4 pars and a bogey. Still a great hole to have. We have Holly right now a 2 down, Maurice at +2, Kona +3, Margaret +8. And here we have hole 17, a 520-foot par 4. You were saying earlier one of the holes kind of paid your homage to Tyler on hole 9. I feel like this hole reminds me of Tyler State Park. It's a really, really tight shot down the fairway. It goes downhill and then turns to the right at a slightly, protected pin. It's really about the first shot on this hole to get your drive through, which Holly has executed well. It was going really well, just hit a tree, but she should still have a good upshot from there.
And here we have Maurice. And I agree, this is 100% about the tee shot on this hole. If you make it, you're looking at a birdie. If you miss it, you're looking at a bogey. This is very early. It's a tight gap. Kona just tickled, and that looks like that might be chasing down the fairway off just a little tree
Wow.
kiss.
She better hug that tree down the fairway as she goes.
We got Margaret. That's going to be on the left side, but it's still flying.
Spotter should easily find that one. You know, there were so many volunteers at this tournament. It was so nice to see. It felt like every hole there was a spotter. There were people bringing water and snacks. And I mean, this A tier really felt like an NT.
The local volunteers really step up for this one. They're so excited when the touring pros come to town. Here we have Holly making her approach.
As you could tell, it's a tricky upshot, so she did have to kind of Anheuser her disc a little bit to make it up towards the basket, but she should be inside the circle. Looks like Margaret's got a little bit of a tight shot here to make it through the trees, which she was able
That's
to
well played.
execute. Yeah, she'll
That's
have a
well
long
played.
putt from there, but it's a very well played shot.
There's Kona just on the left edge of the fairway. Nice touch on that upshot. That forehand's really smooth. We've seen that a couple of times today. Margaret with her upshot. Giving it a good run here.
Ooh. All right, Maurice with a straddle putt through the laurels.
Just off the branch. That's a tough
Yeah.
break.
It's hard because you have to get the disc high enough to get in the basket, but it's such a low ceiling. Sometimes if you do release it a little high, it'll do just what it did.
Probably a laser beam in the basket.
Yeah. She is on a tear this round.
I believe this is for Margaret's par. Center chains.
And I think we had a couple eagles on this hole.
I believe through the entire weekend, there were 3 from the entire field.
Nice putt. Kona has such a strong, hard putt that works so well for her. I'm more of a lob putter, nice, soft, and gentle in the basket. So Maurice making her putt. And it looks like we have two birdies and 2 pars on this hole. And here we're into the final hole of round 1, hole 18. It's a 285-foot par 3. The view that we're seeing right now is the fairway that, you can take and you should take. However, there's a little cheater route line a little to the left over some hollies that you can take as well, which you see Holly just took right there to try to get a little bit more closer towards the basket. She unfortunately did hit those laurels, and it'll give her another kind of low ceiling putt here.
That inside lane is definitely the local lane. And it seems the secret is out, as Kona looks like she's taking that as well. And that is just a flat to hyzer, and she's inside the circle with a very well-placed shot. Marie's going forehand. She's probably going the same line. Little forehand to Annie. And if that finishes out, that should be on the right edge of the circle. Just a little early. Maybe about 40 feet out.
Yeah, probably right next to Holly's drive.
We've got Margaret lining up. That needs to stand up a little bit. That's going to be left side.
Oh, kicked a tree right back in towards the fairway.
It's not left side anymore.
Yeah. Margaret for her putt. Long putt here.
Nice Anheuser line. Right under the basket.
Nice tap in. Holly's got a tricky little putt here for her too.
A little inside the window. Oh, wow. That was a great view of a really good-looking putt.
That would have been a great finish, but still a nice, easy tap in for a 3.
Maurice has the same thing. And here we have Kona with a very well-played drive, about 25 feet out. Finishing strong with the birdie. Great round, Kona. 1 over. Great finish.
Looks like all the ladies have fairly easy putts from here. Maurice making her putt, ending up with a +2 this round. Great score. Set her up nicely for round 2. Margaret, she had 1 or 2 bad breaks, but otherwise she had a great round.
8 over with a quad bogey. That's a tough hole.
Yeah.
Holly finishing 3 down. Very, very strong.
And as you can see, all these ladies executed these shots forehand, backhand, mid-range putters. This course really requires you to execute every shot in your bag. And after the back 9, as you can see, Holly has a nice lead with 3 down on the card. However, after round 1, you have Lisa Fakis with a 5 down, Sarah Hokum 4 down, Holly Finley with a 3 down, and then rounding out the lead card will be Kona star Panis. We want to thank you so much for watching the FPO coverage of round 1 of the Stafford Open back 9. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you soon when we have the round 2 coverage.